So Gregor, thanks very much for having me over in Munich, and it's been really great to see your space here and understand the very innovative model you have. But it must have been an interesting challenge to get it started in a very traditional big corporation. Can you just share some thoughts about what you had to do to make this happen?
Okay. Well, I guess firstly to listen to the needs of the company, the engineers, the business units that are challenged to come up with very important innovations and to work with outside companies for that. So there was definitely a need for that, to work more with startups. And then allow us just to apply common sense and to just think go by what meets the needs of the engineers and what meets the needs of the startup. I guess another important thing was to not focus on your career, but to focus on what's useful for your audience or for your stakeholders. Because if you're focused on your career, you're very much bound to trying to do what your boss likes.
Right.
As opposed to what makes sense for the company.
Okay, so that's what made you willing to come up with something novel or new.
Yeah, it's also I think when you stumble upon an interesting opportunity or problem, be it inside or outside a corporation, you're just eager to make that happen. So it wasn't as much as I want to innovate something at BMW, I want to create something at BMW. It was just my strong knowledge of that field, coming from Silicon Valley, knowing startups, having done startups myself, and seeing the gap, the problem BMW was facing in working with startups. And I think that's similar to many people who start successful companies outside, is when they are a great engineer and they stumble upon a solution and they see that this solves their own problem and also problems of many other people, that then they build companies out of that,
right.
as opposed to looking to innovate and then finding a white spot and building a company around it. So that generally doesn't work as well.
And in Silicon Valley, you worked for IDEO,
Yes.
And you were telling me that part of the culture there is not to ask for permission, but to go ahead and do things and later seek forgiveness. Was there any of that in your experience of starting this here?
Yeah. Well, there's a general saying within Silicon Valley in general, ask for forgiveness instead of permission. And what I saw at BMW, that this is really how people operate generally. That's because they come here right out of school, they call them the BMW natives. Right? They graduate from school and they spend the next 40 years here. And they're just used to build consensus, and to build consensus is an important thing, but it's always many times confused with asking for permission. So to build a consensus is important if you really need the okay from another person, but to get something done. But if you don't need the okay from another person, then you don't need to build consensus. You should just need to be aware of their needs, but not to go for permission. For example, the room we built here, I knew that BMW and all employees are looking for new ways and cooler workspaces. But I would have never gone out to ask for permission to build this room, because it would have failed, or would have in one of those many processes in which you review rooms.
Right. And it was the case with even the brand and the website as well, right? You just went ahead and did it.
Yes. I found it important for startups to understand that we are part of BMW, but also that we are a different a startup-focused unit, and the websites I've seen that were built from organizational units towards the outside, they always use the BMW, I guess, standard template, which at the upper part of the screen there was always a menu to buy a car. So, for example, iVentures, our internal venture capital, now they have a new website, but back then in 2014, there you went to iVentures and you could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 X cars. So basically, you could at one point you could read about venture capital, then you could also just go ahead and click on one of those models and buy a car. And I thought, I don't want to communicate to our startups that they can buy a car here. I want to communicate that they need to help us buy great cars, build great cars. So that's why I just said, well, let's just build our own website. So we got the domain through BMW IT system, which is fairly easy. But then the hosting and the branding, and so we did this all independently from BMW corporate identity. Now, the interesting thing was, as soon as we launched the website, we got a call from the CI people. I thought, wow, now they're gonna, like...
You thought you were in trouble.
Yeah, I thought I was in trouble, but they were actually congratulating us on how great that looked and how good it is, and they wanted an interview. So it shows that you just do things that are correct and good. And you have an argument behind it and a rationale, then you're fine.
Great. Thank you so much. I think that'll give a lot of people a lot of inspiration to try and be entrepreneurial within a big company.
That's good.
Thanks.
Glad to be able to share. Thank you.